Hey everybody, this is Tim with Subsoil Films, and this is the first of many cast interviews we're going to be doing. We also have a special lucky number 13th cast announcement to do this evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, which will be great. But the first cast interview that we promised is none other than Sasha Graham. Sasha, how are you doing today?
Good, Howard. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Can't wait. I've been looking forward to this all week. And let's start off real quick. So, for people that don't know you, I mean, I've seen a bunch of the films that you've been in, but what are some of your most memorable films to you?
So, anybody who would know me would probably know me from my straight-to-video B movies from the 90s. So, those would be movies like Addicted to Murder 2 and 3, Blood, Psycho Sisters 2, Beyond the Brink of Insanity, Polymorph with J.R. Bookwalter, Bloodletting with J.R. Bookwalter, The Vicious Suite with Ron Bonk, Gut Pile, Alien Agenda, Out of the Darkness. I worked a lot with a filmmaker named Kevin Lindenmuth, and I did like Rage of the Werewolf, Alien Agenda, the Addicted to Murder series. So yeah, there was like a ton of movies back in the 90s.
So, those are some films that people might know you from. But what actually got you into the business? Like, what got you got you the itch for the acting in the beginning?
Oh, oh my God. I mean, I have loved theater and fit and film. Theater was my first love from like when I was a really little kid. When I walked into my first play, kind of, when I was like, "What? Oh my God! What is this?" And so then I moved to New York City to become an actor right as soon as I graduated from high school when I was 17 years old back in 1988. And I also had this huge love of horror, of Stephen King, of Anne Rice, of vampires. So I think what happened was my enthusiasm for the supernatural would really kind of show itself every time I auditioned for anything that was scary or spooky. So almost immediately, I began doing these vampire plays all over New York called La Commedia del Sangue. I played this Angie, the 19-year-old vampire who is like all angry because that's what a good, teenage vampire is. Yeah, and so from there, then I did like one Kevin movie, and I was on the cover of the box. It went into Blockbuster, Addicted to Murder, and then all these filmmakers start, and I didn't even know there was like this subculture of horror flicks.
Yeah.
And I will say something that's really cool. Like, it wasn't like I was I never played like a last girl. I was never like an actor who was like stabbed and killed, like a girl running around in a wet t-shirt. I always got to play like an alien or a vampire or mafia hit woman. So I was always like cast as these amazing, strong, supernatural characters that were so fun to play.
Yeah, it's funny. So we have a mutual friend, James L. Edwards, and I've been rewatching a lot of his films, and I noticed that you were in quite a few of them actually. And one of them I watched recently. I don't know why I kept putting it off, but for some reason, just the word bloodletting just didn't sit with me. I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie about that. I mean, I love horror films, but that concept. But anyway, it had nothing to do with it really. I mean, it was just a really well done, well performed film. And then I'll tell you the scene where, Lonnie's character, or James L. Edwards' character, comes into the store where you're working. And you were asking him to hang out and go in the back with them, and you had like three people with you, and one of them was like blocking the door. I thought the character you were going to kill him, but it ended up not being like that. But anyway, it was a real fun movie. So if anybody hasn't seen Bloodletting, check it out. And also Polymorph's a fun time as well. I did appreciate that. And I see personally, you'll notice that just by the cast that we have, there's a lot of subgenres here that are being tapped into, and the shot on video, the Tempe films, those are definitely some loves of mine personally. So hey, Michael, what's up? Yeah. So what do you prefer? You prefer playing an alien, or you prefer playing a vampire, or what did you have more fun doing?
I love vampires.
Yeah.
Vampires are my first love. Vampires are my jam. Yeah, I love playing vampires. But I mean, I honestly, as long as a role is written well, it's so much fun. Like, so it almost, you know what I, and as long as the people that you're working with are like fun and creative, like there's like nothing better than shooting a movie. It's just it's the best feeling because there's this feeling like it's almost like you create your own little world. Wherever you're shooting, and it's just I don't know, it's the best time ever. I love it.
So, what out of all the movies you've done, what are some of the more favorable moments you had on set? What kind of
Oh,
stuff out to you,
that's
or
such a
what?
great. One of my favorite moments, I was in this movie, The Vicious Suite, and this was back in, yeah, mid 90s, before, obviously, way before like zombies caught on like they are now. I had the most amazing vampires, zombie scene where I had like 30 zombies chasing me through this like post-industrial kind of wasteland. Oh, and it was just like, and I was falling and screaming, and they were like attacking. I was so much fun. So that was a really good time.
That's
And
awesome.
I loved all of the vampire movies that Kevin Lindenmuth and I shot in New York City were amazing. And sometimes, like when I would shoot in the city, we would overlap with a big budget film. I was doing a movie with Joe Zazo, Method to the Madness, and we were shooting in Hell's Kitchen. And Gary Oldman was shooting a movie like 2 blocks over, and we
Right.
totally like crossed paths. And I was just like, oh, what's up?
I love him. Yeah, that's awesome. So I actually follow an English soccer club called West Ham United, and there was a film based off of their hooligans back in the late '80s called The Firm. That was one of Gary Oldman's. I don't know if it was his first film, but it was one of his first films. And man, I love that guy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and let's see here now, real quick. Let's talk a tiny bit about seasons, and then we'll go right back to you again. But because it kind of tie in here, the character that we really wanted you to play was this person called Rachel in the Harvest, and without giving too much away, I'll say that you know it's yeah, God, it's listen. First of all, this script is just the perfect balance. I'll say it a million times, and I'm sorry I'm a broken record, people, but it's the perfect balance of gore and camp, and seriousness and fun. It's just this super perfect mix to me, and the fact that it's split up in different segments is even better. But just knowing that this cast, I mean, Jeremy London's going to be in this segment with you, so it'll be kind of cool to work with him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then Felissa Rose is also going to play. I guess she's going to play Olga in that segment. And the girl who's playing Gretchen is actually in one of Ben Swicker's shorts that I posted online, so people can take a look at Ben's work, called The Dissolving Man. So no, I'm sorry, she's in ASL, but that's up there too. But anyway, man, I can't say too much without giving it away, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like this guy's looking. Jeremy Linden's character is basically, looking to get into something, some sort of gardening type club, but what he stumbles into could be a cult. I don't know, but we'll. I mean, when you read the script though for the first time, what were your thoughts on the script overall?
Oh, I loved it because it wasn't one of those scripts where I had to like go out of my way to imagine what was happening. It was like all right there on the page. And what's amazing about it, it's like you said, it's funny, it's campy, but it's also disturbing.
Yeah.
And there's like lots of different layers. There's a lot, it has a lot of subtext that you could read in a lot of interesting ways. And again, I don't want to give too much away. But
I'm looking forward to it so much, and I think, and listen, people, if you're watching this, whether it's live or after the fact, because this will go up on replay. Um, oh my God, the Harvest is probably one of my most favorite segments in this whole script, just because God, yeah, I can't, I don't want to give it away, but it's disturbing at times, and but yet really fun, and yet kind of creepy, and then what you think might be obvious ends up not being that, and then I love stuff like that, and like you were saying, it's tough to do with it's technically a short. I mean, these are just a compilation of short, little films here, and it's tough to really get all of that and all those layers in that short of a piece. But the Harvest, I think, is one of the might run a little longer than a couple of the others. I'm not sure. But anyway, the cast, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to just listen. Now that we have the principal cast, already cast. When I reread the script, I visualize, everybody all together, like seeing it in my head now when I read it, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be, people are gonna love it. It's gonna be awesome, and hopefully there may be a sequel. Who knows? We'll talk about that when we get this one done. But for people who are tuning in, the intent is to release this Halloween next year. So we have all this time to make sure that everything gets done to the best of our ability to make it happen. If you haven't already gone, I'll post the Indiegogo link again in the comments, even though I don't have to, because I post it everywhere, every hour, every day on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all these different things. You'll find it. But listen, the more money that we raise via crowdfunding, the better the effects will be. Like we have a principle, a secured budget, but the reason why we're doing the crowdfunding is so that we can beef up the effects. And this is very effects heavy. And by effects heavy, I'm talking like there's going to be virtually, I can't say zero CGI because there's a couple things that literally have to be, but I'd say about 95% practical effects is what we want to do. And in order to make that happen, we need your help. So please help us out, and let's spread the word, and let's get this crowdfunding campaign going up. But anyway, back to you. Let's see here. So what have you been doing lately? I mean, it looks like you got into tarot reading, and now is this something that you just discovered? Did it discover you? How did this whole path work out for you? And when did you decide to write books on it and everything else? Because it seems you've been pretty busy with tarot. Explain yourself, please.
Yes. So I am a metaphysical author for sure. I've written 8 books, mass-produced books about the tarot, and I'm also the creator of 2 tarot decks, the Darkwood Tarot and Tarot of the Haunted House. And I never, when I got into professional tarot, I had never thought, oh, I'm going to write books, I'm going to create decks. And little did I know, like literally, Tim, I travel around the world. I teach tarot. Last year I taught in the Middle East, I taught in Asia. So it really is kind of like this magical deck of cards that's taken me everywhere. And how I got into it was just literally, I had been, I had done all those B movies, and then I had decided to go to college because I had never gone to college. So I got my BA from Hunter College, and then I raised my daughter. So I was a stay-at-home mom until she went off to kindergarten, and I was like, it's not time for my next step. But I had no idea what to do or what to pursue. There were so many things I was interested in, but I most importantly wanted to be there for my daughter. So I wanted a schedule that was flexible. And so I literally would ask my tarot cards every day, like, what should I do? Like, what is my path? And one day it hit me, be a tarot card reader, because I could create my schedule the way I wanted to, see private clients during the day, read at parties and events in Manhattan in the evening. So that one thing just led to another. And I just love it so much. I love teaching it. I love writing about it. It is mind altering. It's, I always say it's an interesting thing that I started out doing horror movies, and now I'm a tarot card reader. It's all rooted in the same thing. It's all about supernatural power and creativity and reaching into darkness. And reaching into darkness to see what's in there and what you can kind of pull out of it. And one of the things that I think is so great about horror is that, like, a great horror movie opens you up, right? It's the same thing as making out or having you're all alive, your skin, you've got goosebumps, your breath is racing, you're like, what's going to happen? And a good horror movie shows us something that we haven't seen before, right? It opens us up. In the same way in the same way that metaphysical experiences do. So I love it. I love both art forms. I think they're fantastic.
So what are some common misconceptions that you hear?
What about tarot and being a tarot reader? Well, I mean, there's a lot of people have a lot of presumed notions. I mean, every reader is different, right? So I'm not a super psychic reader who predicts the future. So I'm not interested in predictive tarot, which is typically like historically how people understand it. I really use the cards in the context of there is no past and there is no future. There's only right now. And what we do right now determines like where we go. And then I use the cards creatively, of course. But a lot of people are frightened of the cards. They think the cards will maybe bring something bad to them. They're scared of readers. There's readers out there that take advantage of people because people are in a vulnerable position when they get their cards read. So there's all kinds of crazy preconceived notions about the cards. And it just, and everybody's experience comes down to who they wind up reading the cards with. It depends on who's sitting behind the cards reading your cards that like will determine your experience. But hopefully one of the things I love to do is teach people how to read their cards.
Yeah.
That's why I write books. So you're your best tarot reader. And I always say the more you know yourself, when you know yourself, you'll know more than the best psychic could ever tell you. So that's really the key.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope people watching this learn something too, and definitely check out SashaGraham.com and find out some more. Find out where you can get her books and
Yeah, and for the horror films, I made a great deck called Tarot of the Haunted House, so that every card is kind of like a jump scare.
Nice.
So yeah, it's cool.
That is cool. So speaking of horror, what are your okay? So I don't want to ask you what your favorite horror film is because no one can really answer that 100%. So just name a few that would be in like your top 5, I guess you'd say, of all time that you've enjoyed
That I've
horror films wise.
enjoyed. So yeah, so they would be also the ones that hit me the most, like freaked me out the most, which of course I had to go back and watch 10 million times to get okay with it. But that would definitely be The Shining for sure. Salem's Lot, the made for TV miniseries. Poltergeist Poltergeist ruined me. The Lost Boys defined me. On the soundtrack alone for Lost Boys, like, so perfect. So give me the glitter blood all day long with Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland.
It's those vampires. I'm telling you, you got something for the vampires
I
too.
love a vampire. I love a vampire. Yeah. I would say those just off the top of my head.
Awesome. And so what are some I mean, besides horror, I guess you say, like, what are some of the actors or I'm sorry, actresses or whatever that you looked up to before, like while you were working or leading up to you working? It could be theater as well. I mean, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, when I was an actor, when I was like in it, right? That was the late 80s, early 90s. So I thought Winona Ryder I still think Winona Ryder is so amazing. I'm like, oh my God. And I literally I follow some accounts on Instagram. They'll put up like old pictures of like Johnny Depp and Winona like making out at parties. And I just think there's nothing more perfect than that. Like Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder. Who else did I think was amazing? Lily Taylor was amazing.
Yeah.
Is amazing. I shouldn't say was. Who else? Actors that I like kind of died for. I thought Nicole Kidman in Dead Calm.
Dead Calm is one of my favorites. I love that. Yeah.
Such a good
I'm a huge Billy Zane guy, but yeah.
As we all do. Billy Zane, awesome.
Everything he's ever done, I love. Demon Knight was one of my favorite horror films as well. Because again, it's fun. It's one of those. I love fun horror movies. Yes, there's tons of movies that scare me to death that I love too, and I'll never forget the first time I saw The Omen. I mean, oh God, that's one of my ultimate favorites as well. But yeah,
love a creepy kid.
Creepy kids, yeah. There was a big discussion on Facebook about that today with a bunch of horror people saying, please help me figure this out because, kids in horror movies as a lead, like name some that are actually good, and then all of a sudden, boom, Children of the Corn, The Omen, people just started, Pet Sematary, blah blah blah. Because the guy was like, seriously, like I can't think of one, and then everybody just jumped in, and there's plenty. This film, Seasons, has a I guess there's no real lead. I mean, there's lead roles in every segment, including the wraparound and the girl on the cover, there's a little girl. She's 10 or around 10 years old, supposedly, and her grandmother tells her some creepy tales about the seasons, and that's what this film's about. We haven't cast her yet. The 10-year-old's the most trickiest one to cast of all.
Well, I mean, children are so innately watchable on film because they're just so natural and they're so open. They're just like, don't they say like never like act with like kids and dogs or something?
Yeah,
They
pretty much.
feel the scene from you. So you add that like innate kind of charisma and just compelling energy on camera, but then add something nefarious because children are so like I used to be so freaked out by my little sister and she wouldn't do anything. She'd just be asleep and I'd like peek down from the top bunk and be like, oh my God, what if her eyes open and glow red and she comes up and kills me?
Yeah.
Kids are freaky.
My kids love to jump scare me. And we all do. My wife, my little ones, we all love to jump scare each other. I mean, it's always fun. But no, in the dark, hiding underneath a table behind the couch where you can't even see what's underneath the table, and then they jump out at your legs. That's always fun. Your kids are the best. But yeah, in this particular film as well, I want to mention that Lynn Lowry is going to be playing the grandmother, and we're actually going to, give her some, special makeup too to make her look even older than she is, because she's young and lovely at 70 something. But she's a doll. She's a sweetheart. She's been very, very passionate about this film, just like everybody who's read this script has. Once they read the role that we had intended for them, they were like, I got to do this. I love it. Absolutely. Reggie Bannister is another one for people who are watching this. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock, because I've been posting it everywhere. Reggie Bannister, Eric Freeman from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. There's, who else is there? Geez, so many. Felissa Rose, I mentioned earlier, with you in The Harvest, and Jeremy London from Mallrats and Party of Five and everything else he's done. Who else is there? We got Jackie Kelly, who's been in a bunch of independent films as well, who's another actress that we respect. And that's the reason why we wanted to give her an opportunity to be in a film with such a big cast that could hopefully help her career too. And who else is there? There's so many. Oh, Lisa Wilcox. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's going to be playing in Christmas Hell. She plays the lead in that segment, with Sean C. Phillips, who's going to be playing Queasel. If you look at the poster, there's this thing coming out of the fireplace. That would be Sean C. Phillips, all made up, all nice, which will be fun. That's a really fun one too. And then we also have a couple other Nightmare on Elm Street people. We got Brooke Thies, and we have, I know I'm butchering her last name, but Danny Hassel. Both of them were in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 with Lisa. So it's really neat that we're hitting all these different, Reggie from Phantasm, another one from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And then we have the Nightmare on Elm Street people and Felissa Rose from Sleepaway. It's just a real nice mix of people from different genres and subgenres, and I'm so pumped. I wish we could just start.
It's gonna be one heck of a cast party. Is all I want to say.
Yes. And we're gonna do a premiere in Boston, and it's gonna be unreal. I mean, that's our thing on Halloween night. Can you imagine? We were talking about possibly doing it in Salem, but Salem is always booked out like months in years in advance. But that would have been better. Have Salem, Mass.
We could all go to New Orleans. We could do a New Orleans Halloween together.
Yes. Well, hopefully, we got a little bit of time to figure that out, but we'll definitely do something really cool. It's gonna be really fun, and we have perks available for tickets to the event. That's not going to happen until next Halloween, but still, I mean, snap them up. It's limited. We're going to only have a limited amount of people there. And also, there's a special super duper VIP one where we'll actually cover your flight plus one more. So flight for two, hotel, the whole 9 yards. If you just take a look at our perks. I added 14 new perks today because everybody kept asking, why do you have it so that I can't buy a hat and a mug, or a mug and a t-shirt and get a little discount the more stuff I buy? And they wanted these bundles. And I'm like, you know what? Here you go. And I gave them 14 of them. I'll try to do 13, but I had to do that 14th one for whatever.
Which is my command.
Yeah, So hopefully everybody's happy and find some. I know I sold a couple today, which is great. And we also have the super duper raffle too. Okay, which is our absolute cheapest perk. It's just a raffle ticket. It's for one entry is $10. It's our cheapest perk. And for $10, and there's only one person in there right now. So as of right now, they're the winner. Um, you get the grand prize. So, but you can buy as many entries as you want between now and the end of the campaign, which is there's 45 days left in the campaign. Yeah, do it up because again, we want these special effects to be fantastic. Anything. So yeah. We have thank you Mark, thank you Michael for popping in the live chat here. I really appreciate it. As always, they're both popping over from Facebook. I can see that. And they've been here from the beginning, so thank you so much. Sasha, is there anything that you got going on that you'd like to share with everybody, or anything coming up, any events, or anything else you want to talk about, or any films,
Yeah, actually. So I've been teaching this incredible tarot masterclass called Illuminating the Shadow because we are all kind of in a shadow moment right now. And as a result, I think it's a great time to kind of dive deep into your subconscious, into hidden talents, repressed feelings, all kinds of like cool stuff. It's a little spooky.
Ah,
So that's on if anybody's interested, it makes a great Halloween gift for, the lady in your life, who might be magically inclined, or the witch in your life. If you happen to know a witch, you can go to tarotpalooza.com to register for that. And yeah, like I was saying before, I've written a ton of books, and they're available everywhere: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Target. You can just Google me, Sasha Graham Tarot, and I've got this brand new, actually I have one, my brand new tarot deck here, which is the Dark Wood Tarot, which is a shadow tarot deck. So yeah, I've got a lot of fun stuff, whether tarot related stuff, whether it be a class, a book, or a deck. And then I'm also in. I've got a bit part in Her Name is Krista, James L. Edwards new movie, and then we've got something else coming out very soon. So yeah, we'll come.
yeah, he teased that out with the poster anyway, and he's got a Facebook group. So if you want to, if any of you are on Facebook, I see that some of the people in the chat are on Facebook anyway. Join the group and get informed when it's going to be released and all that. Get all the updates. It's called Brimstone Incorporated or Brimstone Inc. Look it up on Facebook. Check that out. But if you message James L. Edwards on Facebook directly, you can get Blu-ray copy or Blu-ray combo of Her Name was Krista, and he'll actually give you two signed. He doesn't have to sign them; it's up to you. But for like $25, you can get two little mini posters and Blu-ray combo. And I'm telling you, Her Name was Krista. I listen. I didn't. I knew what to expect, but I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I'm telling you, right, everybody, listen. You love a slow burn. This is your film. You love gore. This is your film. It is like it's 2 hours long, and you cannot watch it in pieces. You have to sit there for the full 2 hours to get really into it. And then that last half an hour, I was like, everybody was asleep in the house, and I'm like, no, come on, man, no, like, oh no, the whole last half an hour. And I'm telling you, there's only like 2 films that I've ever done that with in my lifetime, and and actually one of them is Ben Swicker's short. But anyway, Her Name is Krista. It's worth it. It's worth it. I guess on Amazon you can buy it for like 99 cents. You can rent it or whatever, or get the digital copy for like dirt cheap. And he posted that today on his Facebook. So check that out. Yeah, and you'll get to see Sasha in the you play the interrogator or something, or the psychologist.
I pop in at the end of the flick. He did this great thing where he brought a bunch of us from the '90s together. So it's myself, Scooter McRae, and I don't know. Do I want to give away the third cameo? I feel like I should let it be a surprise for.
Yeah, let it be a surprise. Make people buy it. Come on.
Yeah.
But no, listen, it's super worth it, and plus, and seriously, check out that Facebook group for Brimstone Incorporated because you're gonna want to see it. I was lucky enough to watch it, and I'm waiting for this thing to come out. And it's been a couple years since they started it, right? Since you filmed, it was like 2018, or
I think it was 2. Was it 2 years? Yeah, it had to have been 2 years ago. Was it last year or 2? No, 2 years.
Yeah, and it's got a great cast as well. Great, some cool names in there. Some really cool names in there. But yeah, so again, thank you so much, everybody who's been watching this live and also after the fact. Hello, people after the fact. Check out our Indiegogo. If you can't find the link, I don't know what's wrong with you, but like, if you need the link or whatever, just go to Indiegogo.com and just search seasons. Like we're the only thing in there in seasons. I thought there'd be some sort of like I don't know, new invention based off of I don't know, seasons, but there isn't. So we're the only thing up there as seasons, and we have like I think 47, 50 different parks to choose from. So all shapes, sizes, and all goodies and whatnots, and should be a great time. I'm telling you, this cast is so phenomenal. And Sasha, thank you so much for being the first cast member that we interviewed. We're going to be interviewing Lonnie real soon, James Earl Edwards real soon, and next week for sure we booked Jackie Kelly on Wednesday next week. So you can hear her story as well. And then we're going to have Jeremy London and Chauncey Phillips right after that. And then hopefully get all of the others as we go along this campaign for Indiegogo's seasons subsequent films. So anyway, Sasha, thank you so much for a great evening.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you real quick off the air, and everybody else have a great night.